So, today was the day that I graduated from high school. June 4th, 2021. It's currently 11:55 p.m. and I expect this recording to go over that. You know, it really is a peculiarity what we go through in life. I'm really unsure what to think of it. It seems that all too often we lose friends. All too often as well, we see people taken up by certain things in society. I've known people who've died, people that I've gone to school with since I was small. I've known a man who's gotten hooked on drugs and with the bad side. I know people in abusive relationships. And it's just strange. How could something so happy, something like elementary school, where everybody's in tip-top shape, everybody is seemingly having the time of their lives. In middle school, that seems to go downhill. Things change. Start feeling different ways. Some people get let off into paths that perhaps aren't the best for them. I think whether it's good for them or not, it's dependent on how they'll see themselves in the future. How them in the future will see themselves in the past. If you're proud and you're in the future, looking back on your past, you should be proud. But it's a curiosity. How can so many people come and praise their own accomplishments in a folly while others are dead or dying? Others are hooked on drugs, some aren't. Some are just getting out of it, whether that's regardless of what that is. Difficult situations, family life, jobs, their own personal hardships, traumas. You say it, I got it. But the greatest thing that I cannot understand is how we just all go on after that, how we all move on after that. How can you act so happy if you've known somebody who's died? How can you act so happy knowing there are certain things not going their way for people? It's a folly. So I was at my high school graduation today, currently 11:59 p.m. June 4th, 2021, soon going to be the day after, June 5th, 2021 at 12 a.m. And it was a great thing. I'm very happy to have graduated high school. And it was a great thing to see all my colleagues from every school and my teachers to see me walk, do some really great things. I've earned a medal and I've had a sash. I worry. I don't know where people will be after high school. it seems people change after high school. Something happens, just like in middle school, and just like in elementary school too. Some gap happens, and people aren't quite what they used to be. I'm not sure. Do you think so? It's always a scary thing to think about, isn't it? In addition to them becoming different, will you too become different? And who are you? What are you right now? Are you US in the present, or you in the future? Does past you have any grip on who you are right now? You might say no if your past is particularly traumatic, or you just didn't enjoy your past, you're having a better present. What if your past wasn't necessarily terrible, and you're working your way up right now? Would you see the same thing? It's this type of human psyche, this type of human psychology that interests me so greatly. I'm unsure how humans work, yet they're just so complex. I took a photo for a girl I've known since 10th grade today, and a guy that is 2 years older than me. I was a sophomore and he was a senior, I think, or he was either a grade above me, maybe. And they were together. I remember both of them, and they just looked so happy, and it got me happy too. I took pictures for them. The first ones didn't turn out so great, but I worked on them, and I think they were satisfied in the end. The girl I knew didn't worry me at all. It was more or less the guy she was with. The guy she was with didn't have anything wrong with him. He wasn't abusive. He wasn't bad. It really wasn't anything. He was the same guy I saw, I think, 2 years ago, if not 1 year. However, he gained weight. He looked like he'd lost some of his initiative. And that's 2 years. And of course, this is a first impression after not seeing him for about 24 months. But having that long of a space between meeting somebody and meeting somebody again, perhaps you could see them more clearly for what they are. Just, you don't see them every day. Just like how you don't notice a child's growth or how they mature if you see them every day. Like if you're a parent, a stranger will notice it. Or a neighbor, if they haven't seen you in a while. Anyway. He worried me because it looked like he'd lost some of his drive. He gained weight. I think he said he wanted to go to the military then. I thought he already was there and he was doing stuff. That's what he did. He's generic answer. I smoke weed. Nice. There's a problem with smoking weed and doing what you want. I just wish he'd done something a bit better with his time. I looked at him. I was like, yeah, this kid's gonna go far. I kind of looked up to him in a sort of way. This guy, he knows his stuff. He's smart, so on and so forth. Now he just looks so humbled. It's like, guy, what happened? Am I going to end up like that? I may be ambitious now when I was his age. But when I turned 20, or 19, I'm 18 right now. What will happen to me? I'm unsure what happened to him. Or even if the initial impression I had was correct. But seeing that in of itself overwhelmed me with a sense of dread that there are certain things that we not only cannot control, but we do not notice. And we may notice them in our youth, or we may realize them in our future. But in the present, we may be totally blind to them. And it's only in the present that we can change for the better of the future. And in that, I really, really hope I don't end up like somebody like that. I want to keep continuity of myself. You can't lose yourself out there. Remember who you were when you were a child, and now see where you are now. When you were a child, you had these expectations for yourself. Have you reached any of them? And you may say, well, I was a kid, I didn't know any better. Well, let me tell you, if you actually had goals and you did set out to them and you did succeed, you wouldn't have said that. And I can testify to that. I set to my goals and I finish it. And I can say I haven't had that experience at any one point, but I see people do, and it can be difficult. It really can. But it's always important to take a look at yourself, not only who you are now, but what your future self might think of you, and what you, at another point in your life, best in the past, think of yourself now. It's always good to gain multiple characters and personalities of yourself to see and analyze who you are, so you just don't get lost in this infinite spiral that we call life. Just do the good. Maintain a good relationship, good continuity, treat yourself good, treat yourself right. Make sure you never make any regrettable decisions. Treat others with kindness and they'll treat kindness back to you. Never settle for second for yourself. And understand this is life. You're born innately with some sort of soul. And if not a soul, some sort of personality that you still go to. Just don't let that part of you die. That's all.